Hi guys, it's Lucia and today I wanted to do a video about how I learned English. If you are from Spain and you would rather watch this in Spanish, that will be the first link in the description. All my family is Spanish, but I guess from a very young age my parents wanted me to learn English. My dad has always been really interested in English as well. So I guess I can start when I was 5 years old, and my school offers some different classes that you could take instead of being on lunch break with your friends. Obviously those classes were just like colors, numbers and all that stuff, but I guess it got my interest in the language. So I guess I did until I was 7, and I think the year after I didn't want to do English again, or they weren't offering it or something, but I went on to doing chess. None of my life I've had lunch breaks for playing with kids. I just had more classes and more stuff, so that's definitely something. I still had that interest in English, and like I said, my dad has always been interested in English as well, and he had this subscription to a magazine that came with a magazine and a movie, both in English. So when I was 8 years old, I decided that I wanted to see if I could learn for myself, like what a weird 8-year-old kid, I know. So I went through those movies, and the one that I found that could be more for kids, not really, but the one that was the least violent was Titanic. So I got that movie and I played it on and I watched it in English. Obviously I didn't really understand the full movie because it didn't even have subtitles in Spanish, so I was just like going for it and just trying to see if I could learn something or understand. So I did that for a bit, and the year after, when I was 9, I told my parents that I wanted to go to English classes after school, and they put me in classes, so I went to this English school. Obviously a lot of my English that I learned, especially grammar and all that, came from that. I was a lot more advanced in English than people that didn't go to that in my school. So it was quite obvious when I was in my English classes at school that I was already better than everyone else, I guess, because I knew more than most people. There was like this other kid and I that were always like top of the class in English. And even some of the teachers, like I had this English teacher that she would like get me extra work in a way, not extra work to do, but she would give me more vocabulary words and stuff that would be more advanced. So I was always the person for the teacher to be like, oh, no one's answering, then Lucia, you go ahead and you say this. So again, that was quite annoying, but at the same time I think it helped because I was practicing a lot more than everyone else, and I was practicing various different situations and all that, so I guess it was good, but at the time it was really annoying. So obviously when going to an English academy, what you learn most is grammar, and you do tests, exams and all that. So when I was 15, I realized that I wasn't really learning anything else. The first few years was good because that's where I learned the basis and just like how to construct sentences and all that, but afterwards it was just like paying for nothing kind of. So I told my parents to take me out of it. I didn't want to go to it anymore, and at that point I was already watching movies, listening to music, watching TV shows, reading books and all that in English. So I guess a lot of it was just me being really interested in learning and me doing things to actually learn more than just wait for it to come or wait for the educational system to teach me. When I was 16, one thing you could do at my school was go with a few of the teachers and everyone else in the class that wanted to go to Canada for 3 weeks. So I guess I really wanted to see if I could actually talk to people and all that stuff. So I was staying with a host family for the 3 weeks, but going to classes with everyone else that I already knew. So that was good because you had the abroad experience, but also you were with people that you knew, and it wasn't that like homesick feeling, if you could say. The classes there didn't really teach me much, but when I was out of the classes, I did force myself to talk to people in stores and all that, because obviously I was with all my friends and we all spoke Spanish to each other and we didn't really practice English that much, and I want to say that's one thing that most people did wrong. The year after that, when I was 17, I decided I wanted to take my last year of high school in the States, and that's what I did. I was an exchange student in Colorado for 10 months. On that experience, I was obviously forced to speak English. I was in a different city, in a different school, in a different country, with a different family, different friends. I did make friends with the Mexican community because they were really nice and they were really accepting and all that. Yeah, I did speak a little bit of Spanish, which I didn't really want to do, but they were so nice, so I just was like, whatever. But I did speak English for the most part. I would say that experience also shaped the way that I speak. I guess all the movies, TV shows and stuff that I listen to are already American, so it's interesting to see how the accent that actually stuck is the one that I was learning while learning on my own, rather than going to classes and all that, because my teachers at that English school that I was from 9 to 15 were all British. When I was 19 and in university, I decided that I wanted to create this YouTube channel, and I decided to make videos in English so I could practice, so I could meet more people and all that stuff. And this has really helped me a lot too, because it's just like conversation and you just practice all the time. And after university, as you guys probably know if you're watching this, I moved here to London. So that's kind of my story of how I learned English. One of the things that I learned while I was in America is that a lot of people there didn't read. And I'm not saying Americans don't read, I'm just saying in the particular town that I was at, it was actually a problem. No one my age really read on their own time. So whenever they had to write stuff down, they didn't really know how to spell a lot of things. And I was just like a bit confused, like how they didn't know how to do that. And I realized that's because they didn't really read, so they didn't really see anything written down, they just hear stuff. So when you're learning, that's actually something that you need to know how to do. So reading as well as listening to things is equally good. When I was younger and I started watching everything in English, people actually made fun of me and they were like, what is she doing? Like, she's so weird. Why is she watching that in English when she can just watch it in Spanish? If you don't do anything on your own time and you just go to classes and you don't do anything else, it's not gonna come. It's not gonna happen that way. You need to do stuff for it to happen, and you need to get obsessed with it and get practicing and talk to people and read stuff. So that's gonna be the end of the video. I know it was a long one. Hopefully you get encouraged to speak English on your own time and learn English and just get motivated to do it, because that's the only way that you're gonna learn. So I really hope you guys liked the video. If you did, please give it a thumbs up and don't forget to subscribe, and I will see you guys later with another video. Bye!